Today we're diving into an American horror comedy film called Death of a Unicorn. Spoiler alert, let's get into it. The movie opens with Elliot Kintener and his teenage daughter, Ridley, driving to the private estate of Elliot's boss, Odell Leopold. Elliot works as a lawyer for a major pharmaceutical company, and Odell, who's currently battling terminal cancer, has promised Elliot a promotion to vice president. On the road, Elliot suffers from allergies and suddenly lets out a loud sneeze. He asks Ridley to roll up the window. Ridley, who's jaded and uninterested in the trip, thanks her for tagging along and tells her to stop picking at her acne. He reassures her that she's going to have a great time at the estate. He also mentions that if he lands the promotion, they'll have enough money to last a lifetime. Right then, Odell calls, clearly irritated that Elliot is running an hour late. He sneezes again and accidentally hits something on the road. They pull over and discover they've struck a baby unicorn. It's alive, whimpering. Ridley feels strangely drawn to it. She reaches out and touches its glowing horn, and in an instant, she's transported to a cosmic realm, witnessing unimaginable, otherworldly visions. Before she can react, Elliot, completely panicked, grabs a tire iron and strikes the unicorn unconscious, while Ridley screams at him to stop. They load the unicorn's body into the trunk. They arrive at the estate where they're greeted by Odell's son Shepard and his wife Belinda, who quickly take them to see Odell. He's visibly sick, close to death. After asking how the trip went, Odell turns to Ridley, noticing something seems off about her. During the conversation, Shepard points out something on her face. Elliot jumps in, suggesting Ridley go freshen up and relax. Once she leaves, Odell says he's come to terms with his impending death and believes Elliot is the right person to take over the company. Elliot immediately tries to pivot the conversation to business, but struggles to see through his glasses, which are making everything blurry. He removes them and presses on, proposing that Belinda take over the foundation while Shepard focuses on his own ventures. Elliot brings over the paperwork for Odell to sign, but Odell pauses. He says he wants to spend more time with Elliot and Ridley before signing anything. The family, it turns out, is quite curious about Ridley's major at university. Elliot tells the family that Ridley is studying art history, news that visibly unsettles them. Meanwhile, upstairs, Ridley notices something strange. Her acne has completely cleared up after coming into contact with the unicorn's blood. Disturbed, she rushes downstairs and tells her dad they need to leave immediately. Suddenly, their parked car starts shaking violently. Everyone in the house runs outside just in time to see the car windows explode. Something inside is pushing out. A unicorn's horn pierces through the glass. The baby unicorn's cry echoes, but it's silenced in an instant when Odell's head of security, Shaw, steps in and shoots it. The group rushes to the vehicle and stares at the body. Ridley shrugs. It's not a feral horse, it's just a unicorn. Elliot finally confesses. He hit and killed it by accident. Ridley adds that its blood touched her face, which prompts Elliot to notice that her acne is completely gone. He also realizes his allergies are gone, and his vision has improved. Ridley says they should report it to the wildlife reserve, but Odell shuts her down. He says doing that would invite legal problems. Instead, he proposes they run tests to figure out exactly what the unicorn is capable of in terms of healing. Odell also warns that calling the police would lead to Elliot being arrested for reckless driving. That night, Ridley lights a cigarette and stares out the window but quickly hides it when Elliot checks in on her. He brings up what he saw earlier. When she touched the horn, it looked like she was having a seizure. Ridley denies that and refuses to discuss it further. She admits she feels a connection to the unicorn and believes they made a huge mistake handing it over to the greedy Leopold family. Elliot brushes it off and tells her to stop thinking about herself and focus on what the promotion could mean for them. That's the final straw. She kicks him out of her room. Later, Ridley flips through old photos of her and her mom and spots something: a unicorn tapestry in the background of a museum photo. Curious, she goes online and tracks it down to a museum that houses 7 unicorn tapestries believed to have survived the Middle Ages. She learns that the tapestries tell a dark legend. Hunters and kings repeatedly failed to capture a unicorn, until a pure-hearted maiden was able to charm it. That night, Ridley jolts awake from a nightmare of the unicorn's distorted, fearsome image, only to realize she and her father have been sedated and taken in for testing. The Leopold team is now running full diagnostics to study the effects of unicorn blood on human biology. In a formal presentation, Dr. Song explains the unique regenerative powers of unicorns. When Ridley tries to talk to Elliot about the unicorn tapestries, he dismisses her. It's not the time. Meanwhile, Dr. Bahacha reports that the unicorn's horn emits powerful bioelectrical signals. Dr. Song adds that powdered unicorn horn could possess even more potent healing properties than its blood, and insists further research is critical. Odell and Shepard are all in. The team proceeds with their next phase, combining unicorn blood and ground-up horn into Odell's medicine. Not long after the injection, Bahacha detects a spike in the horn's electromagnetic signals, an abnormal surge. As Odell rapidly recovers, he thanks Elliot for giving him another shot at life and promises not to forget it. Meanwhile, Shepard learns Ridley has been researching unicorn mythology. He tells his assistant Griff to fetch a printer, claiming he's a visual learner, and asks Ridley to compile her findings so they can present them together to Odell. Just then, everyone is stunned. Odell is fully healed, back to his old self. Dr. Song, astonished, theorizes that the unicorn's horn may hold the cure for cancer. Ridley, however, feels something's deeply wrong and quietly walks away. Odell orders the unicorn to be prepared for transfer to the company's headquarters for extended research. But Dr. Song raises a red flag. The protein sequence in the horn is practically impossible to replicate. While Ridley prints out the tapestry images and tries to raise concerns, the Leopolds are too busy pitching their miracle cure to global elites. When she turns to her father, she realizes he's now blinded by the money. Her horror deepens as she witnesses the family actually drinking unicorn blood. Desperate to get through to them, Ridley shouts that 1,000 years ago, unicorns were feared, not adored. She recalls how hunters who tried to trap them met gruesome ends, and explains the unicorn's traditional symbolism as a stand-in for Christ. Her voice cracks as she delivers one last plea, begging them to release the baby unicorn before history repeats itself. But the Leopolds just laugh her off. Odell turns cold, locking eyes with Elliot and blaming him for Ridley's outburst. Humiliated and furious, Ridley storms outside and jumps into her car, only to catch a glimpse of something otherworldly. A strange aurora borealis streaking across the night sky. Underground, the baby unicorn is being transported through a tunnel. Suddenly, lights flicker. Electromagnetic signals spike. Every nearby device powers down. Odell immediately orders Elliot to check it out. But when Elliot steps inside the tunnel, disaster strikes. A unicorn horn bursts through the darkness, impaling Dr. Song through the chest. He dies instantly. Its cry shakes the night as Shaw and the guards open fire, barely able to see in the dark. The beast barrels through the shadows and slams into a vehicle, forcing Ridley to dive for cover. Elliot runs to her aid, pulling her under the car as the creature crushes a man to death only feet away. Thinking fast, Ridley distracts the unicorn, screaming for her dad to get to safety. She sprints toward a nearby room and hides behind the door. The unicorn limps toward her, bleeding, its glowing horn pulsing with pain. Just as she reaches out, a guard opens fire again. The unicorn flees into the darkness. Shaw spots the trail of blood in the grass. They hit it. Inside the mansion, Shepard lashes out at Ridley for not warning them about the unicorn's transformation. But she fires back. She did warn them, they just weren't listening. She reveals she shares a bond with the baby unicorn, ever since she touched its horn. And its parents sense it too. That's why the creature spared her. Belinda suggests that could be true. But as Ridley pleads to release the baby unicorn, Odell flips the narrative, saying they can't let innocent deaths go to waste. Instead, they should track and capture the injured adult unicorns. Belinda, blinded by the promise of greater good, supports the plan. Odell, Elliot, and the guards load up, weapons in hand, ready to hunt. Ridley begs her father not to go, but he coldly insists it's for their future, then turns and leaves without another word. Meanwhile, Shepard distracts Dr. Bhatia by glamorizing Dr. Song's death as noble sacrifice for medical progress. While Bhatia is distracted, Shepard secretly pockets the powdered unicorn horn. Moments later, alone, he spreads the dust and snorts it like cocaine. The effect is immediate. He starts to feel a psychic connection to the unicorn. Elsewhere, Ridley prepares to leave, but freezes. She can't abandon her father. As she turns back, the aurora borealis streaks across the sky once again, and something clicks. The lights, the energy, the healing, it's all connected. She races back and tells her father the truth. The unicorns can heal themselves, which means Odell is heading straight into danger. At the same time, Shepard, now unraveling, lies to Bhatia and sends him after the horn, claiming his relapse demands another hit. Later, Ridley confides in Griff. They need to warn her father and Odell immediately. Belinda overhears everything. Deep in the forest, Elliot and Odell follow a trail of bioelectric signals, tracking the unicorn using its blood. Suddenly, Elliot's phone buzzes. It's Ridley. One glance, and he knows. They need to abort. But it's already too late. The unicorn crashes through the trees like a living missile, ripping Shaw and the guards apart in a feral frenzy. At the same time, back at the facility, Dr. Bhatia saws through the horn of a dead unicorn, severing Ridley's psychic connection in an instant. Odell and Elliot sprint toward the mansion, but the unicorn is faster. Odell finds himself cornered, trapped. Deluded by greed, he slowly approaches the beast, reaching for its glowing horn. A fatal mistake. With a violent upward thrust, the unicorn impales him, ramming the horn straight up through his chin and out the top of his skull. The others bolt, slamming the mansion doors shut and locking them down. Inside, panic takes over. Elliot tries to call for help, but the unicorns disable the power grid, plunging the estate into darkness and silencing all communication. The electronic gate won't open. The only option? Manual override. But someone must also distract the unicorns long enough for the others to escape. Belinda volunteers Griff and Dr. Bhatia. They're reluctant, but comply. As Bhatia hides the horn, she offers Elliot one last warning. Don't count on people like Odell or Belinda. They'll always choose themselves first. Then, with steely resolve, she wheels the baby unicorn outside. Just as Belinda starts the escape vehicle, she notices something chilling. Her son is missing. She races back inside. Meanwhile, Shepard, now high out of his mind on unicorn dust, obsessively pores over the tapestry prints, puffing vapor clouds like a man possessed. At the gate, Griff manages to crank it open. But then the unicorns arrive, furious, grief-stricken, and merciless. They tear Dr. Bhatia in half. Griff panics, bolts through the gate, and doesn't look back. Inside, Belinda confronts Ridley, blaming her for this disaster. The unicorns are no longer curious, they're vengeful. Shepard has a different plan. He insists they can only control the unicorns using a pure-hearted maiden. Elliot shuts that idea down, but Ridley, devastated, admits it might be true. She feels responsible. As she breaks down, her father tries to comfort her. Then, Shepard crosses the line. He plans to use Ridley as bait. Even Belinda, now sober to his madness, starts questioning him. Elliot's had enough. He denounces the company for its selfish rot. Elliot and Ridley try to flee, but Shepard blocks their path. Before the standoff can escalate further, the unicorns crash into the mansion, forcing everyone to scatter. Elliot and Ridley lock themselves in a side room, hearing the snorts and stomps of the creatures just outside. Elsewhere, Shepard and Belinda scramble to grab the horn container. Under the table, Shepard mutters his final pitch. Use Ridley to lure and breed unicorns, for the future of their business. But there's a problem. The horn is gone. Elliot has it. He took it to protect Ridley, honoring a promise he once made to her mother. Choking on guilt, he admits he failed as a father. For the first time, Ridley smiles. They embrace. Something real in the ruins. Elsewhere, Shepard arms himself with a crossbow. But before he can make a move, a unicorn grabs Belinda, his mother, and savagely tears her apart before his eyes. Frozen in horror, all he can do is watch. Come morning, Elliot urges Ridley to run, but Shepard intercepts her. His visions have confirmed what the unicorns seem to recognize. Ridley is pure-hearted. Instead of attacking, one lies beside her. Shepard moves in fast, tying the creature's legs. Elliot arrives with the horn, but he's too late. Another unicorn lies beside Ridley as well, and Shepard moves to restrain it too. Elliot makes a final choice. He drives the horn straight into Shepard's gut, but Shepard strikes back, stabbing Elliot. Before Shepard can finish the job, the unicorn rears up and kicks his skull in, launching his body across the clearing in a single brutal arc. As Elliot fades, he asks Ridley what she saw when she first touched the horn. She whispers, "My mom." Elliot smiles through the pain. "Then I'm ready to go home." Ridley cries, but the unicorns step forward. Gently they lower their heads, glowing with energy. Together they heal Elliot and their own child, reattaching the horn to the baby unicorn. Elliot opens his eyes. He's seen what Ridley saw. Life. Peace. Love. The unicorn's coats turn white, glowing like morning frost, and they disappear into the forest as Elliot and Ridley embrace in the quiet aftermath. But peace doesn't last. Griff returns, with law enforcement. Seeing the bloodshed, the officer misreads everything and arrests Ridley and Elliot. Inside the car, as they're being taken away, Elliot speaks softly to his daughter about what's ahead. Then, it happens. The unicorns appear once more, racing alongside the cars, wild and untamed. Elliot braces Ridley. The unicorns ram the police cruiser and cut to black. So, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more killer content.